Senator Warren versus John Deaton going head-to-head in the debate. We'll break it down for you today. My name is Paul Barron. Welcome back into Tech Path. Before we get started, I want to thank our sponsor today, and that is Coinbase. If you guys are looking at going into crypto for the very first time, you probably are starting to explore, hey, what is this crypto all about? Well, Coinbase is the one-stop shop for you guys to get involved. Very easy to set up, super secure. Hit our link down below. It's going to give you $200 in crypto to get started. And it does work, and it's one of the best platforms out there to use. So use the link. It does help the channel. I want to lead off here with a few clips. We've got 3 in a row, actually several in a row, and then I'll kind of give you some insights on this. But this is the intro. Take a look.
Senator Warren says she wants to build a, quote, anti-crypto army. You have criticized her and federal authorities for what you claim is overly aggressive regulation of crypto. What's the right balance? 1 minute.
Well, listen, I want everyone to know, when I found Bitcoin, I thought of my mom, because my mom was on welfare and food stamps, and she couldn't keep a bank account because she couldn't keep the minimum balance, and the bank would hit her with the predatory fees, and we needed that money. And then when I went to college and I would send her money from college, I used Western Union, and Western Union would take 15%, and it made a difference. So when Bitcoin came, I was like, great, you could cut out the predatory banks and the middlemen and the MoneyGrams and Western Unions, and you could help unbanked people like my mom. With inflation pricing regular people out of economy, with a debt crisis where 40% of the people don't have $500 in case of an emergency. Why did this senator wake up one day and say, with all that, I'm going to build an anti-crypto army because crypto's so important to her? That's a question that she needs to answer.
This is the thing about crypto that I think a lot of people, don't understand, is that it is truly an alternative way to move value. And that's the thing that I think a lot of people are looking at, saying, hey, that's like the US dollar. It's very easy to do, moving value from one person to the next and being able to self-custody that dollar. You can do that right now. That's the thing that, of course, Elizabeth Warren has been against, and that is because of big bank support. This is her talking about her becoming a moderate. Take a look.
So look, I'm fine. People want to buy and sell crypto. That's great. I just want to make sure that crypto has to follow the same rules as every bank, every stockbroker, every credit union, and some laws to make sure that it's not open for terrorists and drug traffickers and human traffickers in Iran. But I think crypto ought to have to follow the same rules as everybody else.
Briefly,
I
because
wish
I'd like to
Senator
move on.
Warren would attack inflation the way she attacks crypto. She's so focused on crypto. She had the CEO of JP Morgan Chase available for questioning, and they had financed the largest child sex trafficking operation in history. And Senator Warren didn't ask a single question. She wanted to talk about crypto because she's so hyper-focused. Why would you not ask one question?
I really don't understand this charge, and I don't know what you're talking about here. Look, I'm all for having a crypto system. If people want to buy and sell crypto, all I want are just some basic fair rules.
Well, I think the key here is going to be that we're going to get some rules set up. And of course, you have to remember what the SEC has been doing is enforcing rules without any real regulation that's been in place. So that's the big problem. And of course, you have to remember, Elizabeth Warren has been one of the big proponents of what is known as Choke Point 2.0. And that really has just been able to debank most of the crypto companies here in the US, which has moved a lot of that innovation offshore. Deaton, of course, is hitting her pretty heavily here, I think, with her mission on crypto as a laser focus. And I would have to agree, she's in charge of the anti-crypto army. If you have ever thought about freedom of finance, sovereign holding money, this is the antithesis of that. So this is another clip that gets into it where self-custody comes into play. Take a look.
Her bill bans Bitcoin self-custody in America, yet she's allowing the banks to custody Bitcoin. Another example that Senator Warren's policies do not help poor people. They do not help the working class. She favors the accredited investor rule. That excludes 85% of the American population. And I got in this race to give poor people an actual voice.
Listen, guys, I don't know if you saw that little clip there. That was a smirk. And it was one of those smirks that you never forget if you're ever around one when it comes to something as simple as self-custody. And for those of you who are not in crypto, let me explain self-custody. You want to hold $100 in cash. You want to hold that at your house. That's called self-custody. Well, that's what Bitcoin or any other crypto self-custody is. your ability to hold it without a middleman. That's the key here. And for her, banning it simply means she wants the banks in on the game. That's the problem that I think she continues to place. And if you look at where this is going right now, I want to go to one more clip here. This is our next clip, clip 4. And this is talking about big crypto funding Deaton. Take a look.
There's one candidate standing here who gets 90% of the funding from one industry, the crypto industry. What is the return on investment that his crypto investors are expecting from having put millions of dollars into his race?
I can't help it when she goes to ban an entire industry that they're motivated against her because they see a viable candidate. Everyone out there, I sued the government because the SEC had done something really bad to small retail investors, and a lifelong Democratic judge agreed with me. I did it all pro bono, and this token XRP was called legal because of my work. I won Lawyer of the Year, Consumer Advocate of the Year, Defender of Freedom Award because I did it for free. And guess what? Last week, that crypto billionaire that she's talking about that has supported me just donated millions of this XRP token to Vice President Harris' campaign. If I didn't do what I did, sue the SEC on behalf of small retail investors, that donation to your candidate of choice, Senator, would not have happened. So, Madam Vice President, if you're watching, you're welcome.
I would like to move on. You can return to this if you like later.
All right, so there's a lot of things behind that, but the big real issue here is Deaton is right. He was really more about the people behind crypto and in crypto. It's not the organizations. The organizations had to enact basically because of the fact that we've seen so much attack on the individuals, because this is really more attack on individuals, not these big corporations. These are, and there are only a handful of companies like that out there. So I think his position was dead on in the sense of, hey, I'm defender of the people who are out there trying to just get one leg up. And that is the real core of where crypto voters are. We've already started to see the Harris campaign understand that, with black men being one of the biggest components of crypto holdings. And I think we're going to continue to see more activity on this, especially coming out of the Harris campaign, now that we see the potential for regulation going forward. Speaking of that, this was a video that we did back during Fit 21. And of course, Fit 21 is the bill that went through the House, is waiting to go through the Senate. And of course, you look at the performance here, the Republicans 208 and 71 Democrats. So this is somewhat of a bipartisan win, a big win going in through the House in terms of Fit 21, which will give us regulatory alignment around all these digital assets, give you the ability to go out there and buy crypto legally here in the United States, the ability for all these companies to operate here in the United States. That is what Senator Warren is standing in front of right now. And she knows it. She knows that. Here's another clip I want to get to. This gets into a little bit about her being so tone deaf around crypto voters. Take a look.
One candidate who has said quite openly his personal worth is 80% tied up in crypto. Look, people of Massachusetts know me. If John Deaton has a chance to go to Washington, he's going to be there to fight for crypto.
I'm John Deaton, and I approve this message.
That's right. He is going to be there to fight for crypto. Nice little pun there by the editors. But the point being is that she doesn't understand that there are over 30 million crypto voters in the United States. And that's the low-hanging fruit. It is likely that it could be in excess of 50 million. And the likelihood of that growing to maybe 100 million, double the number in this bull run, is real. You're talking about a third of the population that is going to be exposed to blockchain technology, gaming, crypto, all of those things. Why is the U.S. government not necessarily fighting for this? Because this could set us on a track going to the next evolution of where technology is moving. So I don't understand. I don't understand why she's going there. Now, she does get into her performance and her track record and her ability to win things and do things in Congress. So let's play that clip.
How can voters trust that you'll put their interests ahead of partisan politics? 1 minute, please.
I'll stand on my record on that because I have done it. I have been the principal sponsor in 44 pieces of legislation. 27 of those pieces of legislation are bipartisan. I deliver on a bipartisan basis.
Thank you, Mr. Deaton.
Senator Warren has passed one bill in 12 years as primary sponsor.
This is why people don't trust John Deaton. He has been fact-checked on that publicly in the Boston Globe and said that's not true. I have passed 27 bills on a bipartisan basis.
Equal time.
Thank you. Notice I said as primary sponsor.
All right, so let's just go fact check Elizabeth Warren since they were fact checking John Deaton. And if you go in and look at Senator Warren's record, you can see it right there. One bill. When you sort it down by became law and you look at sponsored legislation, this is the one bill that went through. Let me zoom in on that. Now let's give her the benefit of the doubt. There are some others that are out there, but only 11 of the Elizabeth Warren 330 bills have ever passed. And of those, a couple that are very interesting, 10 were eventually folded into other bills, and only one relatively obscure bill was ever enacted, and that's the one about the U.S. flag thing. So here's a good example of why she's struggling to get these passed. If you look at where Warren is positioned, right here, Warren is on the far progressive left, and this is basically the moderate middle. This is where you're going to find most of the opportunities for being able to get bipartisanship, and again, that's a big problem, and I think this is another scenario that has been playing out with Senator Warren. Now, I want to go to a clip here real quick, because this will break down some things that gets into how she voted against the border bill. Take a look.
I would never demonize these people, but it's a national security crisis. The problem is Senator Warren will say, oh, you call it national security crisis and you're a racist. That's insane.
Response, please.
No, let's be clear. This is the Republican playbook. Federal government should pay for the migrants who are here to support them. But we need a comprehensive plan, and the Democrats and Republicans need to work together.
Rebuttal.
And we need to separate out this crazy extremism.
Hey, extremism. Senator Warren just literally said we need comprehensive immigration reform bill. It was on the table, and she rejected. She's out there saying Vice President Harris is going to bring back that bill. She's literally saying that nationally, and she voted against it.
Rebuttal. Time's up.
Start
Go
out
ahead.
by blaming the immigrants, but let's be clear about
I blamed you, not the immigrants. She's the extremist. I'm the moderate.
Thank you. Rebuttal.
The extremist Republicans, we need partnership here.
Democrats are great. Republicans are bad. I got news for you, Senator. All of you suck in Congress. All of you.
I'm giving you the last word.
Well, leave it to these
Keep it
career
brief, please.
politicians that have been in office for years. Just like the wealth gap that Senator Warren talks about. It's increased every single year that she's been in office. Worries about control. When she was asked, what's wrong with John Deaton's policies? You know what she said? Oh, the crypto people like him. Then the person said, well, wait a minute, is that it? And she goes, no, we want to not lose control of the Senate. This is the point.
If you look at the situation that we're talking about here, the full list of Democrats who voted against the border deal, it's kind of interesting that this happened under now the campaign that she's backing with Harris. But right there they are, Elizabeth Warren, right at the top of the list, all the way down to Ed Markey. There's Bob Menendez. This is the guy that got basically snagged for taking the gold situation. And of course, now he's going in for bribery and corruption. So point being is that this was a bad move. I think this only kind of positions and solidifies the exact point that Deaton has been putting about Elizabeth Warren for quite some time. She has special interest groups. She's been continuing to fight against what is known as real, I think, freedom, and that's around what is happening within crypto. And that, of course, puts in the anti-crypto army, which we have reported on extensively. Go back and watch several of our videos. Every time a congressional hearing comes up, we're on top of it for you guys. That's a big part of this. The other thing I want to hit on right here, this was an ad that literally came out right after this debate. So what she's talking about with extremists trying to ban abortion nationwide, we can't take any chances, and she sticks Deaton's face right next to Neil Gorsuch. So the point is she's going after him as an extremist, when in reality, he is the moderate. He's the one that is there for people's freedoms and the idea of where crypto is, which is self-sovereign finance and the growth of your own business. So I just don't understand it. We got to be able to defeat this, guys. And if we don't, the only way that we're going to get crypto into the United States at a scale that isn't manipulated by big business is through voting. So share this video right now. We can beat that right there. CBS Boston had 40,000 views on this stream 16 hours ago. Share this video right now to anybody that you know that's thinking about crypto, that is thinking about maybe getting into crypto, or if anybody's just thinking about freedom, financial freedoms. This is what's at risk right now. So do that, help us out, because right now it's not a race that Deaton can win unless he gets a big push on crypto voters right here. So he is behind the 8 ball. And of course, I think that means crypto is behind the 8 ball continuing. Now, sure, there's a lot happening out there on the regular election scene. We're starting to see Trump take a position over Harris, and I think that could play out very positively for the crypto markets. We'll see. Get into crypto right there. You just go over to John Deaton's website. But really, the thing right now is get out there and vote. That's the number one thing to do. Get out there and vote for a candidate that understands crypto. And if they don't, what are you doing? Don't vote for them. It's that simple. Very, very easy to do. All right, you guys make sure and jump in on the Diamond Circle. It's a great place to get additional content from us. And of course, follow me out there on X at Paul Barron. We'll catch you next time right here on TechPath.